Pig is a really, really interesting phenomenon that I learned about 2 years ago poolside from a bunch of my friends who told me that this was a company I should look into. And now today I'm sitting here talking to Dan because I have some questions about some upcoming events and some exciting things that Pig has been doing. But first of all, I want to start with Dan. I know that you're going into surgery on Friday, and just like anything else, that doesn't stop you. So walk me through what's going on Friday for you, and what other big news is also going to come out at the same time this week?
Well, it's good to talk to you, Matt, and I appreciate you being an investor here for Pig. Friday, unfortunately, I am having back surgery, which is a surgery I never thought I'd have, or it's a surgery no one wants to have. The day after you and I we were together for a President's Club trip for neighborhood loans in Puerto Rico, that when I flew home that next day, I had this real tightness in my hamstring, and I thought I pulled my hamstring maybe from a workout, being dehydrated and being in the beautiful resort. And then a couple days later, the pain came to my legs and then my glutes. And I fought through it. I mean, I trained for another 35, 40 days in extreme pain, and I went to every doctor, chiropractor. I did acupuncture, dry needling, cupping, shockwave therapy on my nerves, and everyone said it was sciatica. So you go online, and I bought every pill, pillow, everything you could do to fix sciatica, and it just wasn't getting better. And it was concerning me because it hit about day 45, and I'm like, I'm not getting better. I'm not slowing down. If I did take 2 or 3 days off from jiu-jitsu thinking it'd be better, it wouldn't. So I started getting concerned. So someone told me to get an MRI, and they found a golf ball. Two doctors have said it's the largest thing they've ever seen. The golf ball sized lump in my back between the S1 and S2 discs, and it's wedged in between them, which is causing so much pain. The nerve is hitting it, the whatever this is, a lump, a tumor, a cyst, whatever. It's hitting it and coming back, and that's why the pain. I mean, the pain is a level 10. When I wake up and get out of bed, it's so hard. I haven't tied my shoes or put on my shoes in over a month. My wife has to do that for me. And then throughout the day, it's a little better. Pain goes to about a 6 or a 7. And then at night, it's awful. So all the remedies for sciatica don't work when you have a blockage. So what they're going to do on Friday is as easy as pull it out. And as difficult as it's so big, they say it's wedged. They might have to break my discs to be able to get in. And then that's a whole other surgery. So, unfortunately, I never thought I'd say I'd have back surgery, but it's just another thing I have to overcome. And I'm not happy about it. I'm actually pretty upset. It's a non-fight related injury, which I'm used to. I've torn my knees, my shoulders, I've hurt my neck, ankles, everything, broken my nose a couple times, my ribs, and they're all fight related. So at least I know what the cause was. This is something that is growing, and it's bigger and bigger, and every day it's getting worse and worse. So on one hand, I'm actually really excited to get this out of me, and on the other hand, I'm dreading the recovery and the potential side effects that come from having a back surgery like this.
Well, in the true spirit of Pig, I mean, the I may as well stand for the Powerhouse Intensity Group, although that's not what it is. You're still moving ahead with a lot of big things for Pig right now. So why don't you walk us through some of the biggest updates? I want to hear about what, as an investor, I want to hear about a little bit about what every company is doing. And I know that we have some really big events and other updates on the horizon. So why don't you just start with the companies and then walk us through what's next?
Yeah. Well, look, the show goes on, and I can tell you that I've already set up my bed as a modified weight room. I'm working out the day before or the day of the surgery, and then I'll wait till about 11 p.m. the day after surgery, so I don't miss a day. Even though the doctor said no, I do have some small dumbbells. I will be working out in my bed, sitting down to keep my streak active. I've got a 5 year and 2 month streak of not missing a workout, and I don't intend to miss workout after back surgery. So my room is now a modified gym. So the show goes on, and as does Pig. Pig goes on. I do have contingency plans. I've made some switches. I've named an interim president in the event I'm out for a while, and there's always a worst case scenario when there's back surgery and the spine is involved. So I have made some changes. So Pig will continue, but trust me, I'll be fine. It'll just be a long road. But that being said, listen, some updates, and I like that we're doing this, and it's off the cuff. I don't have any notes or anything. A couple of updates on the 5 companies. And I'll just go in order of the Pig companies. OC Local Anaheim construction has begun. There's been delays on the restaurant. Remember, this is restaurant number 2. The first one was doing so good. We opened up a second one, and it's about, no exaggeration, it's a crosswalk. It's 20 yards away from the entrance of Anaheim Stadium. So there's 70,000+ people who are going to come in and out of that parking structure that will see our restaurant. Not to mention, it's about a block away from where the Anaheim Ducks play for hockey, and it's near the Disneyland Convention Center. So I mean, location is everything in housing and in restaurants. So I can't wait for this. Patrick Thomas, who's the CEO, has done an amazing job. However, there are some delays due to county and city inspections, and they're fighting about HVAC units and refrigerator sizes and stuff. So the update on that is its final approval is imminent. We hope it's days. It could be weeks. It's not going to be months. And then from there, signage is already up. They've already started construction. They've already put most of the furniture in, everything short of the kitchen. So OC Local, I'm excited about that. That is going to be a moneymaker. I mean, I told the CEO, if you served beer and hot dogs, you would make a killing. But if you know the restaurant, you know that it's high-end burgers and great, patties and steaks and tacos and craft beers. I'm super excited. That's number one. Number two, Reva Solar. I think it's right here over my left shoulder. That is still in the seed round. They are getting ready to start accepting pre-orders and getting shingles on roofs. And that's going to happen this year. So that's super exciting. And that is going to be a great investment. I mean, there are several states that are mandating solar. I have solar in my house here in Texas, and it has cut down my electric bill by more than 60%. So I think solar is awesome, and I'm excited to be part of this company. The third one is our Golden company, which is Golden Eagle. I believe that's the one you're in. We just closed a seed round. Over $3 million was raised by Pig for Golden Eagle, the 99 rated vodka, number one vodka in the world, according to the Spirits Show in San Diego. And there's a lot of things happening with the RNDC deal. The second largest liquor distributor in the country has partnered up with Golden Eagle, which now makes Golden Eagle from a regional player to now national. So they are starting to move to markets across the country. We raised a lot of money because for every new market we're in, we have to have a salesperson to lead that charge. So that is super exciting. I mean, this is a company that plans on in the next 45 to 60 days going from seed round to second round, as of course, this will be a continuous raise because as the company continues to grow, they're always going to need more money. So Golden Eagle is doing great. Super excited about where they're at. The fourth one was Strong Coffee, which is awesome. They were the official coffee of the CrossFit Games. They're rolling out a new peanut butter flavor, and they have a national deal with Sprouts that they did, I believe, in October and November, and it's gone so well that most of those Sprouts nationwide have now reordered because they've sold out. So this is just an awesome company. They closed their seed round late last year, and we're now in an active raise and are doing really well. We're getting investors weekly are coming into this company. So super excited where they're at. They're profitable. They were last year, and they will be again this year. So very excited. And then the Liver Care Company, which is our fifth public pig company, they closed their seed round in, I believe, December. I just spoke with the CEO, Siggy, yesterday. We are reopening in the next couple of weeks, a second round. Sometimes seed rounds are risky because that's the risky round. And a lot of people don't want to be part of a seed round because you have the most risk. The second round, the valuation is higher, so it's probably not as good. Well, it's not as good as the seed round, but it's safer. And it's a much safer investment because now they've raised enough money. They're doing really well. So this is literally a life changer, right? This isn't just a liver shot. It's the company Equilibrium, which is the umbrella that we're investing in, which has liver care centers all across the UK and other countries, including the United States. Just last night, I received an email from the CEO, which was a letter that he received from the Four Seasons, which is going to put Deliverance in all Four Seasons globally. Not just in the U.S., not just in a certain market. We're talking all over the world. And then we have a deal that I helped put together with the Wynn Casino in Vegas, where it's going to be in all 5,200 rooms in their hydration kit on top of the refrigerators. That's a very big deal as well. And once we get in the Wynn, we're likely going to get in other resorts in Las Vegas. So that second round, we're working on some SEC setups from the pig setup, and then we'll be able to start raising more money here fairly soon. So those are the five. We do have some private ones that we did, and when I say private, it was held for me and the board with the expectation that we raise money to start something, and then we can now be part of the future raises, which I will open up to all of Pig. But we have a real estate company, we have a hydrogen company, and I'm working on some other companies here fairly soon that will open up to the Pig family.
When would you expect that we as investors in the current companies would find out about some of those new opportunities, the real estate, the other ones that are on the horizons? What's the timeline before those will become open for investment by the general Pig investor group?
So some of these could be called risky deals. And I'm not interested in trying to bring anything to anybody, yourself or any of the other 110 plus investors we have that may not work. But there are a couple things that strategically I think make sense. So the real estate company, a friend of mine owns a real estate brokerage, but it's very, very successful in a certain market, and he wants to expand. And the only way to expand is with more money. So I got 2 or 3 strategic partners to help him start that one. And if it did well, he's going to open 4 or 5 more. When he does that, I will let everyone else in. Now, I can tell you that it's only been about a month and a half. A lease was signed. The percentage of ownership that Pig gets is gigantic. I mean, it's 40% on this brokerage. And there's a lot of money in real estate, as you know. So he wants to now get into 4 major markets. It looks like by the time we have our Pig event, which I think we'll talk about pretty soon, so that'll be in August, this one will have already paid back all the investors plus interest and will have been a total grand slam. And then I think from there, we're going to open up the next 4 markets to all of Pig. And so the hydrogen company is the hydrogen company came from one of our board members. It's about a $600 million company, and they're in hydrogen energy. They're involved with power plants and port authorities all over the country. And this guy needed X amount of money to be able to really pay some legal fees for contracts to be able to accept 4 or 5 mil. So it ended up being less an investment than a hard money loan, which could be risky. And we gave a lot of money to him with a giant return to us. It looks like in the next few weeks that return will be paid back in full plus some, which will make it a huge win. And then at that point, if and when he needs more money for different ports, then we will open this up to all of Pig.
So that brings up a really interesting question that I've actually heard from other Pig investors. If we know of a company that would be a good candidate for a Pig investment, what are some of the other criteria or things that you're looking for to figure out, would this be a good fit for the Pig family?
Great question. We have a vetting process. As this company has grown and as we've had more investors, it becomes more and more serious every time. And, I don't control the companies in any way. So, if a company fails, it really isn't my fault. And if a company succeeds, it really isn't to my credit, other than we can be funding the success, right? So I take the risk very seriously. So there's a very tight vetting process. So if anyone has anyone who's starting a company or has a company and they need money, it's not as easy as, sure, Pig will raise. We get an introduction call with me, with the pitch deck that all companies need to have is pitch me what you're doing. What is the value? It's almost like Shark Tank, but it's virtual, right? And then tell me about it. And if I like it or I have questions and I'm curious, I will then bring in the board. We have 8 board members, and then we all get pitched. We all then discuss separately. Everyone on the board has completely different backgrounds, which I love. Some of our board members are engineers, which helped me conclude that the hydrogen deal was a great deal because I know nothing about hydrogen energy. Other people are in other businesses. We have one board member who is a home builder and is very involved in real estate. And I talked to him about this real estate brokerage deal, and he looked over the finances and said, man, this is a grand slam. I can't believe this guy's giving you this much equity. So we're like, done, we're in. And I locked the CEO in on the next 5 at the same equity, which is really great. So when we get in, these are going to be huge. So we have a vetting process, and then eventually we have to come up to, what is the value? And sometimes the value may be too high. Just like Shark Tank, every company comes and says, hey, my company's worth $10 million, but we've got $10,000 in sales. It's like, you're not worth $10 million. And we have to negotiate. And if we can come up with something good, like we did with coffee and vodka and the restaurant and all these other ones, then we open it up to Pig and it becomes part of our portfolio. But also part of the vetting is we're not interested in a 4 or 5% return. Some of our companies here have giant possibilities. You look at Deliverance. We got in on our original raise at $20 million, and their stated goal is a $2 to $3 billion sale. So, we're talking 100x. It's huge. So I'm really not interested in something that isn't going to exceed what the traditional stock market is or anything else.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So I know we have some big events on the horizon where we're all going to get together, have some fun, but also learn a lot about new things that are happening at Pig. Tell us about the event. Tell us all about the main event. When is it? What can we expect?
So this is our second annual Pig event. We call it the Pigiversary because it's the second year in Pig's existence. We started the company in August 2 years ago, and we're now approaching our second year coming up. So we had our first event last year, and from all feedback, and I'm one that doesn't want compliments as much as I want criticism. All feedback was extremely positive, and I kept sending emails. What could we do better? This was your time and your money to fly out here. Could we have done something better? And everyone said, we love it. We can't wait for the next one. So it didn't give me much, but I am my biggest critic, and there were things that I think we could have done better. And my goal, if someone's going to take a weekend to fly out, leave their family, spend money to come out. I want to create value for them. And although I know we did last year and we were smaller then than we are now, at the time, I think we had 65 investors. Now we have over 110. So we're more than double the size now. I really wanted to bring as much oomph to the table. So this one will be a little different. Now, I think where Pig is different from any company is we allow access to the CEOs via Zoom calls we do quarterly. I send updates almost every other week from conversations I have with CEOs. And you just won't get that investing in Nike, Amazon, Google, Tesla, Facebook, whatever. You just won't get that, right? Zuckerberg doesn't care who you are and really doesn't care for your money. But our CEOs do. They care about you and they care about the money that you give them. So we are having people, and forgive me, it's the Friday or Saturday. Well, the main event is Saturday, and I think that's August 16th, which means Friday would be the 15th. And I hope I'm not wrong, but I might be off by a day. But people fly in that Friday. That's a travel day. And then we will have a pool party at my house where everyone will be invited. And that includes all of our CEOs. So you get a chance to rub elbows. Again, you can't do this anywhere else with the CEOs of the company. So you might be having a drink at poolside with Dakota, who's a CEO of Golden Eagle, or Adam, who's the coffee CEO. And I really want everyone just to get to know who they're investing in. From last year, the feedback was just great. I mean, first time anyone even knew who Siggy was, because we had just started the liver raise right before the event. He came out and people loved him. So here's the value that we're trying to bring. That Friday at my house, we will be having Siggy will be doing liver testing. This is something that he charges $250 for any investor of Pig, not just if you're a liver investor, for anybody. What he's doing is he's doing this for free. He's bringing his kit, which is a $200,000 machine. He's flying it out from the UK. And I did this last year, and he puts it around your stomach area, finds where your liver is, and within 5 minutes spits out how healthy your liver is or isn't. Some people last year, like myself, did a liver test, and he said my liver is the age of a 15-year-old person, which is great. It's just a license to drink more. And then other folks were told, hey, you're in bad shape. I mean, you're approaching liver failure. You need to now go see a doctor and you need to take the liver shot, right? So, and we've got some great testimonials, which we'll share.
So Dan, you're in essence telling us that we might come to the Pig event and have a life-saving experience.
100%. 100%. We have an investor, Dennis Drake, who went in with a liver test on his own to his doctor, and he was told you're at liver failure. And the liver is one of the few organs, liver and the heart, that can actually regenerate to 100% capacity as long as they're not scarring, which is cirrhosis. And they told this guy Dennis, like, the end is near, man. Like, you have liver failure. And he was really concerned. And it just happened to be the time that I had announced the raise. I connected him with Siggy. Siggy connected him with one of his board members, who was the #1 liver doctor at the Cleveland Mayo Clinic. And they did a concoction of liver. I think it's 3 shots a day. About a month later, he went back to his doctor, and they're like, I don't know what happened, but your liver is 100% fine. I mean, it changed his life. And that day, he invested in the company because he wasn't even an investor. And we have tons and tons of testimonials. So that'll be great. We'll do liver testing upstairs. I'm likely bringing my stem cell doctor that has done stem cells for me. He's going to be a sponsor. He did my shoulders, my neck, my knees. They're all essentially 100%. Unfortunately, he can't do my back because there's something stuck in it. He's done my wife and about a dozen of my friends, and it looks like he'll be coming. So he'll be upstairs doing stem cell shots. Dakota will be in the backyard with an hour of specific cocktail making. He'll be doing a class. So all the different ways to make Golden Eagle taste great. Adam will be there with the coffee. It's just great. So that'll be that Friday. The main event Saturday, and this is where it's different than last year and significantly different. We didn't do this. We did similar. We did a pool party, and then that same night we did the main event. This is going to be different. We're going to have conference breakouts at the hotel in Southlake, Texas, and it's going to be about 30 minutes per company. Each CEO will speak. So this is your opportunity. In your case, Matt, you would probably go to the Golden Eagle breakout. Let's say it's 11 to 11:30. And the first 15 minutes or so, the CEO can say whatever they want. They can have charts and graphs and decks and handouts, whatever they want. This is their company. And then they'll open it up for Q&A. Where's the company? Where's it headed? What challenges are there? And if you're in the next one, everyone shuffles out, and then 15 minutes later, the coffee does it. And it's open to anybody. If you want, Matt, to learn more about coffee, even though you're not a coffee investor, you can come in. This is going to be all day. So we're going to start around 10. And if we do all 5 companies, and then we have a couple of other new companies that are likely to come in, including the real estate, including the hydrogen, and then a couple of others that I'm working on, then we will have breakouts for those. I'm having my financial planner, my CPA, and likely a trust person who talks about wills and trusts and protecting your assets. So if you ever get sued or whatever, you have a full shield. We'll do a financial breakout seminar for about 30 minutes as well. So, I want people to walk out there saying, man, I flew to Dallas. I got to rub elbows and shake hands with CEOs of these great companies. And then I got to talk to them and hear their company one-on-one, not one-on-one, but live in a conference. And that's the difference between this year and last year that we didn't do, is I wanted to have more of a breakout session type day. So let's say that's 10 to 2 or 2:30. Then you have the rest of the day off and you get to do whatever you want. And at 6 p.m., we have our main event dinner. And that is when, I go up there and share the vision of the company, where we're at, where we're headed. We do some cool things. We're at now Pig Cares 2, which is our mission to help others. Last year, we invested in a family, not invested, but we donated money to a really great family. And this year, our cause is going to be the New Growth Project, which I know you're well aware of. We'll have them come out and we're going to see if we can, help raise money for that great cause. That'll be a fun night. And then when that part of the night ends and we're done speaking, now you have another 3 hours to just mingle and have drinks and food with again, all investors and all CEOs. As of right now, we have about 70 people committed. And I just rolled this out about 2 weeks ago. So I'm guessing we'll have 100, 110, 120 people who will end up being at this event.
Well, my wife and I will both be there. We're very excited. I mean, I can't imagine a better way to spend a weekend. One, with great people. Number two, learning about the investments that I made. And number three, the networking and just the connection, the camaraderie, plus the coffee, the booze, the vodka, all of that stuff sounds great as well. I imagine that this event isn't cheap. I've planned a lot of events before. Why do you put this on and who's paying for it? I think that's a big question that a lot of investors ask when they see an expensive event.
Sure. So last year, about 98% of the event was paid by myself, and of course my wife. And it was the first time we did this. I'm not sure why we did it. It was the 1 year anniversary was coming up, and I started with an email saying, hey, listen, I want to have a party for anyone who wants to come. And when we start getting about 60 or 70 RSVPs, I realized, oh my gosh, this is like planning a wedding. And it really is. It's like planning a wedding. We actually have a planner this year, which we didn't last year. So this year, it'll be expensive. I think it'll be somewhere between $30,000 to $40,000, maybe a little bit more. We have some sponsors. I don't want to do an infomercial to death where we have 50 people, who all gave me, $800 to pay for the event. It's just too much. It is overkill for you and for me. So I'm trying to get strategic sponsors that make sense. My financial planner, he's my financial planner. If he comes and helps pay for a little bit, a portion, maybe the dinner, then he gets a chance to talk to you about what's going on in the finance world. Listen, it benefits him a lot. Already my financial planner has gained maybe half a dozen clients. So it helps. Same with my CPA, who has easily a dozen plus clients that he's gotten from me. Well, I want everyone to hear what a CPA does, especially this CPA that knows how to deal with investments, because he's my CPA. So he knows how I move my money and how to protect me from the IRS. So I will have some strategic sponsors that'll probably cover about half of it. But the reason why is I think it's important to show our CEOs love. I think it's important for our CEOs to show our investors love. I think that's really important. We're giving them money, and I want them to really show their gratitude and their appreciation to us. We're building their company. Every one of these companies that we have invested to maybe would have been fine without us. Maybe. I don't know. But this is just my opinion. I speak for myself. There is no restaurant without our money. I mean, there's zero chance of that, right? We raised, I think, 70% of this restaurant. They don't open without us. Golden Eagle was a small player, obviously a 99 rated vodka without us. They're great. Great leadership. CEO of Dakota is one of the greatest guys I know. He would tell you, and I was just with him 2 weeks ago at an event, that they would not be a national company had they not grown as big as they did in California. And they couldn't grow in California without our funding that got them salespeople. So I think the coffee company was doing really good without us. And I think our money helped them get into that Sprouts deal. That Sprouts deal was, not easy, right? You have to fund coffee bags all over the country for a national company, and you cannot fail. If you fail Sprouts, people will know about it. And that's tough for another company to try to buy you if you fail that. And that came with our money. And I think Siggy would say the same thing. I mean, we got them into the win. We got them more exposure. Our money raised for them got them to talk to other companies and leverage us. And they raised $17 million outside of us. And I think part of it was because of us. So, I really want our CEOs to appreciate our investors. And I want our investors to be able to, not have a middleman like me always and go directly to CEOs. And I think that's the difference between Pig and other companies. I'm an investor in the stock market and in 15 or 20 different companies. And yet I have no access, no connection to anything they do other than what I read on the ticker. And it's like a removed investment, where here it's an integrated investment. And a lot of these guys become friends with one another. Ennis, who I mentioned earlier, is friends with Siggy. I mean, I think Siggy saved his life, right? And indirectly, he met Siggy through Pig. I think Pig saved his life, and I don't say that to be, cocky. I just really believe that we create value, and that's my goal, is create value for our investors.
I love that. Well, I'm excited for the event. My kind of final question for you, from everything you're saying, I can really feel that this is more than a normal investment, right? The people that become investors in Pig are not passive investors. We could all do an index fund if we wanted to. We're very active in our normal careers and our normal companies that we run. How can we, let's say for the newer investors who aren't as familiar, how can we help after we've written the check? Like, what are other ways that we can do to spread the word or to kind of like have a more active role in helping all of these companies grow?
Well, I think the mission for Pig when I started this has not changed. It's just there's more responsibility for me. That mission was we need to de-risk our investment by funding the companies. It's risky to get into a restaurant. If I would have given Patrick $100,000 out of the $2 million he needed, there may not be a restaurant. And guess what? My money's gone. So I needed to raise enough money to de-risk me. So I can do it alone. So I get 15 friends. We all put enough money, bam, sign a lease for 5 years, great location, awesome. So that goes for all the other companies. So referrals are huge, right? And it's believe me, it's not helping me, although I'm an investor and I'm a big investor in all of them. So I guess it is helping me. Giving Dakota $200,000, if I gave it to him, would have been great. It wouldn't have moved the dial. Giving him a $3.1 million, which we gave him, has changed the direction of that company. So what you can do to help is, especially if you're an investor, right? So if you're an investor, you tell any one of your friends, and again, the best part about Pig is we have access to third-party IRA money that we can use. I use it. I believe that's how you invested yours. So a lot of people may not be cash rich, but from a previous 401k, they might have hundreds of thousands of dollars that are sitting in a market, as you know, that's going up and down every single day. I mean, it's crazy. So you can pull some of that out tax-free, go through our third-party IRA, put the money there, they give it to Pig, and Pig immediately gives it to the companies, and boom, you're now invested. That's about 50% of the $7 million we've raised has come from third-party IRA money. You can't do that. If you want to invest in I almost said Zillow, maybe that, but if you want to invest in any company out there in the stock market, you can't pull it out of your IRA. It's impossible. You need a third-party company to do it, and we have partnered with certain third-party companies. So the best way to help is to spread the word and get more investments. And we've done a really great job. I mean, there's some investors that have put $25,000 company and have referred me 15 people that have put $25,000. I mean, that's a lot of money through referrals. So that's how you help not just Pig, not just the CEOs, you help yourself, because your investment is safer if more money is being spent to grow the company. And there's one more thing that I was thinking, since I have no notes, but I was thinking about the event. We are rolling out something exclusive. First look will be at the event. Of course, all the investors who don't attend the event will see it later. But we've put considerable money, and I mean, it's in the dozens of thousands of dollars that we put in as our investment to our investors in what we're calling the Pig Pen. And that is a CRM. And the simplest way, since I can't show you anything right now, the simplest way to explain this is if you have, and I don't mean your bank, but just in general, if you have a fund where you put your investment money in, we all have apps. And you go on the app and it shows that, your 50,000 is here and it's growing and this, that, the other. We're doing this. One of our board members works for a technology company and he's helping me incredibly. Shout out to James Bartlett. And we are going to have a Pig Pen. So for example, Matt, I'm just making this up, but Matt Muscat put 25 grand in vodka, 25 in coffee, 50 in liver. Your total investment in this example is $100,000. You got in at a vodka raise that started at 10 mil, but now it's worth 13.8. So this is, if it was liquid, this is what it's worth. And then it shows all your investments and where they're at. And it's easy because you'd be surprised how many times we have multiple investors, people who invest 4 or 5 different companies. They'll ask me, hey, Dan, send me the contract, please. I forget what I invested in. And I send it to them and whatnot, but it's really not there. We want to put everything in front of you. Then for participating CEOs, and by participating, they need to pay, I will allow a CEO to have contact and connection with all them instead of going through me. If coffee has this great news, or liver, which just made the announcement they're going to the Four Seasons, they have access to go to the Pig Pen and have their own section where there's an update. And because you'll sign off on it, because it's free to you, the investor, you'll get a text that says there's an update on the Pig Pen. Click on the link and boom, coffee's doing this, vodka's doing this. So it's really, again, my way of giving back. And we've been working on this since October. I announced it in December that we were going to do it. And believe me, it is a ton of work and a ton of money. And our goal, and I'm very confident we're going to reach that, is to have a first look at and a presentation at the Pig event in August.
I love that. One more reason to make sure you book your flights now, get down to the event in August. Dan, thank you so much. Good luck on your surgery on Friday. We're all rooting for you. Can't wait to see the videos of you lifting weights in your hospital bed with your gown on Saturdays. I know will be coming, and I'm sure people say that you're crazy, but it's part of the intensity. That's the reason we all invested. So Dan, thanks today. Good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for the time.